What's up, guys? I'm Isaac here at Back Road Harley-Davidson, and I have this Harley-Davidson Softail Breakout for your pre-owned bike of the week. So as you can tell, this is easily one of people's favorite Harley-Davidson motorcycles because it's just classic old school style. I mean, you can see with that side profile with the big front tire raked out. I mean, it's mean old school chopper to the core. Now, this is a 2014 Harley-Davidson Breakout, and this is a Softail. And it's on the twin cam platform, and it does have the 103, so it's sure to scoot. And with as wide of a rear tire as this is, it's sure to hook up. So what we got going on over here, so it looks like a stage 1 kit. You got a exposed air cleaner going into that 103 twin cam, and then to those 2-to-2 Vance Hines big radius pipes. Looks like previous owners got on it a little bit, scraping a little bit of pegs there. So now this bike doesn't have the most lean angle, but it's still a motorcycle, so you can still get on it and have a pretty good time. Now, as far as super aggressive attacking the curves, stuff like that, this bike's gonna do okay, but it's definitely not going to do as good as something like a lowrider or one of the newer Softail platforms. But this is still a great looking motorcycle, ton of fun to go ride. Pretty comfy seat, and it is set up for a passenger with this backrest and fold down passenger pegs. Let's see, we got bright lighting in the rear, side mounted license plate. And you can see the view from the cockpit here. It's got this beautiful whiskey amber paint. Plenty sharp. It does have the analog speedo here, not up top but down low, so that way it kind of blends into the bike a little bit better. It is an asymmetrical tank with the fuel tank on the, or with the gas cap here on the side. Super easy control layout, Avon grips, and let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, it is a sharp looking motorcycle. It's like halogen lighting all the way around. Yeah, so let's go ahead and show you what this thing's like on the road. All right, so here it is. So this is one of the ones that's a little bit different to start. You might get up top and be like, oh man, how do I start it? But it's on top of the ignition coil little setup here. So it's got the ignition switch right here. So then you just fold it down to ignition. Easy as that. And I'll go ahead and put it in neutral for you. Hit the run and fire it up. That was quick. So let's go ahead and hear this thing, hear what it sounds like. Oh yeah. Yeah, Vance Hines on a Softail. Now Vance Hines and a twin cam motor, those have always gone well together. Now, the early Vance Hines pipes didn't sound as good on the M8s, but man, did they sound good on the twin cams. They've definitely gotten a lot better now, for sure. But man, these sound good. So this will be at least more air in this helmet. Yeah, it looks like a pretty new front tire too, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, not the brightest lighting, no LEDs, but if you like the halogen look, I mean, there's something to be said about having that classy yellow glow everywhere. Yeah, I mean, this paint's sharp, a little two-tone, a little gray there on the bright orange, a little bit of flake too, a little gray, the gray there with the orange, a little bit of flake in there too. Oh yeah, just the right amount of black and chrome. So let's go ahead and rip this thing. Oh yeah, nice and wide. This thing is a sharp motorcycle to go rip around. So wave of these kind, folks. And good brakes. So how this is going to work is we are going to judge this motorcycle on a few different categories. So we will show you those categories here in just a minute. But yeah, this thing is just, here's a little neighborhood run. So how's it like first thing in the morning? So you leave the house, getting ready to go to work. It's comfy. You're definitely, I feel pretty spread out on this bike. So I'm leaning forward a little bit, which is a good riding stance for this bike, especially one that's able to hook and scoot and have the acceleration that it does. So again, you probably have to muscle it through some more aggressive turns a little bit more. Oh yeah. Yeah, all right. Initial impression, I'm pretty sure it's a stock suspension on the rear and the front too. I mean, it feels good. I mean, it's taking up these bumps really well. If you've ridden down Lake Wheeler Road, you know this road probably isn't the best road to be cruising on. But yeah, this is comfortable. I wouldn't mind this at all. So it's definitely, you know, the handling definitely does take a little bit more adjustment, but it's more of an adjustment than oh, this thing sucks. So it's not bad at all to rip around. It's a breakout. You can't have that much of a rake out front and big tire setup and expect it to, you know, just shoop. I was trying to give you hand motions. So, all right, so we're coming up on our first test. The first test is going to be an acceleration test. So we're going to see how hard it, or at least how good it accelerates getting up onto the highway to a good interstate speed. And then it's going to be, how does it feel at that higher speed? You know, does it feel like an 883 at 70 miles an hour, screaming a little more? All right, so I'm going to drop it down to second, come around this turn, and let's get it. Yeah, it's pretty good. It accelerates just how you'd expect it to. I mean, it locks you in, you're locked in, you're braced on it, and it's ready to go. So I'm happy with that. That was good. Definitely felt like it had a little more to give, of course, because it wasn't, you know, fully on the throttle, but it felt good. So now, test 2. How does it feel on the highway? Yeah, I mean, it's a naked. I mean, there's no. I mean, it's not naked, but it is naked. Ooh, a little scandalous bike. So yeah, we're cruising at about the speed of the interstate, and you know, I've got draft from other cars in. It feels good, especially on a warmer day like today, having all that breeze on me. And you're leaned forward a little bit, so you do feel like you're kind of scooping the air, but at the same time you're braced for it, so it's not bad at all. Would I want to ride to Milwaukee like this? Probably not. But can I ride a lot more locally? Yeah, all day, all the time. Could probably do the occasional Milwaukee trip. I could probably do like one Milwaukee trip on this, see how it is. But then once you do it, then it's like, oh, I did it once on that bike, I can do it again. All right, so pretty good. Cozy on the highway. I did feel a lot of wind on me, obviously, because it's not because there's no windshield. Good decel. I do believe this has the Screaming Eagle Pro Street Tuner, or it does have a Screaming Eagle Street Tuner with it. I believe a little bit of an older model, because it is an older model bike. But I do believe that was attached to the motorcycle that I removed before I embarked on our little journey here. Yeah, this is a good motorcycle. This is a good motorcycle. Right behind the wrecker. I'm not even sure what car that is. Oh, buddy's letting Nicole roll right there. And Vance Hines, big radius, would probably stop. Test number 5. How's our braking? I was too busy focused on Vance Hines under a bridge. They always sound good. So, yeah, especially with that sweep on them. Yeah, they're letting the air, the sound bounce off the ground more. So I mean, they sound good. Let that sound spread a little more. Let's see. Make that. that's Harley-Davidson right there. This thing's fun. Yeah, and so I can lean back a little bit, and you know, it's very customizable, so you can bring the risers up a little bit closer to you if you need to. But you don't want to take away from the drag bar look and feel here at all. Man, this thing is sharp. I'll let you guys see the bike a little more. I'll let you guys see this green light a little more. That is the smallest trash truck I've ever seen. Oh yeah. Alrighty, so we're coming up on our next test. What this test is the curve. So we're gonna ride and attack a couple little curves right through here and see how it does, see how the handling is. Does it handle as good as a Pan America, or does it handle as bad as a school bus? You lean a little more towards the school bus. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, just cruising around like this isn't bad at all. And you know what I mean? And I mean, when I do tests like this, I'm really talking about some really small differences, you know, nothing super crazy. So, and this is always a nice, pretty scenic view. I mean, this is a cruiser. It's made for cruising, not, you know, not a racetrack riding. I wonder if anyone's ever taken a breakout on a track. I'll have to look that up later. Yeah, here we are. We're in the curves. A little scenic view here for you. Nice and pretty, nice and pretty. And looking to the right. Okay. Yeah, once you get in it, it's not bad. It's just to get rolling over that tire back there, I think. So yeah, you'll have to play around with body position a little bit more to have a little bit of a safer run. Oh yeah, that's not bad at all. You can run this thing. It's not like the best, but I mean, it runs. It'll run right through those curves. That's pretty good. I'll give it a, let's see, if 10 is Pan America, and 1 is school bus, I'll probably give it maybe a 5. It's pretty good. Flash our brakes so we're slowing down for this construction or whatever we got going on here. Let's see, now what features does this motorcycle have? Well, I mean, look at how beautiful it is, first of all. Analog tack, you'll see most of our indicator lights have been up here, so you've got our turn signals, our high, low beam, our neutral light, and our oil pressure light. Check engine, stuff like that would be on the Speedo. Very simple control layout, the classic older Harley layout, you know, starter and all that stuff on the right. Now, it is a 14, so it does have the hazard button, shares the button or a switch with the starter, so it's the top of the starter button. So the bottom of that button is the starter, the top is the hazards. So it's not like the older ones before that where you have to push and hold both turn signals in. Also, we got our high low beam on the left, operated with the thumb. We got our horn, and then we have the sheriff. Ooh. Let's see, we have our trip button. So now I'm seeing my RPMs. Love that. I can see my miles on the bike. Looks like this one bike has just over 14,500 miles. 14,508 at this very moment, but it's still a few more miles back to the dealership. We have our trip A, our trip B, our fuel range. That's always nice. A clock, and our gear / our RPMs. So it's a 14, so you get a lot of the tech you want. Now the Milwaukee 8 breakouts, those ones, especially the newer ones, those ones are pretty popular. People like those a lot. But people like those a lot for sure. But probably one of the biggest gripes people have with those bikes is they don't like the lack of an... Hold on. Okay, yeah, you just gotta run it every now and then. they don't like the lack of the analog gauge. So they went to that top bar clamp style gauge that you're seeing on a lot of the other bikes, like the Lowrider STs, the Street Bobs, and then of course the new Breakouts. But a lot of people really like having that analog gauge, especially on a older, a bike that's going for the classier, more nostalgic feel like this bike is. Now the advantage to that is you have a little bit more information displayed up there, like an actual fuel gauge instead of a fuel range. On those you get both. A little swerve. Pretty good. Let's see. But you can cycle through that stuff and see everything you need to right here. So that's always nice. Let's see here. So the next test we're getting into is our low speed cruise here. So what we're looking for now is, how well does this bike get real hot when you're sitting on it and driving? How well does it do, putting around at these lower speeds like you might do in this, over the stop and go traffic. The more everyday riding you're going to have to do on this bike. It's not always just going to be hop on the highway and run it, but a little bit more practical kind of riding stuff like that right through here. So, and that's just kind of what we're trying to show you on this whole ride, but particularly in this segment when we cut through Centennial Campus. And it's still a nice, pretty little view to see here. But yeah, so anyway, back to, kind of this breakout or that breakout. So you do get that advantage with this breakout. You do get the twin cam or M8. If you're trying to get more power, you want something a little bit cooler, a little bit more power, then yeah, the M8's all day. But if you're really just going for that nostalgic look and feel, then yeah, I'd probably stick with the twin cam on that. The M8s still have it, but they do feel a little cleaner, I guess. A little smoother. Yeah, it's that's one of the advantages too of having a Harley like this, is that your legs are in this forward position, so they're really in front of the motor heat. So when the air comes through and underneath, let me hit this curb, hit this bump, and then that's a lot of sand. Yeah, so the advantage, your feet, so as the air comes across the motor, it kind of sends it back behind it, and instead of your legs being tucked right back there, catching all the heat, they're in front of it. Now in the winter, one little trick I like to do is I like to, really on any long trip, but especially in the winter, I'll put my feet on the passenger pegs and kind of tuck in, I guess, pretend to ride the bike with rear sets. But what I'm doing there is, I'm just, kind of moving the pressure around in the seat, and just, it's another position to move around to on a long trip. But when it's cold, I can feel that motor heat run on my thighs and my legs, lower legs a little bit more. And so that really is a nice little feature if I'm a little more frigid. So, more, Now, the downside of that is that you don't have any access to your controls. So, it is obviously a little bit more risky because you can't reach your, what? I'm hitting all the lights early today. You can't hit, you can't shift or hit your rear brake as easy, or at all, because your feet aren't on those pegs. Yeah, there's no cruise control on this bike either. There are no digital cruise control. I guess we can call this an analog cruise control. So it's got the little thumb set screw over there in between the throttle cables on my right. So you can see it right there. Cool. And we'll set up over here so we can dip it in and then apply more braking like this. Easy as that. Alright, now heat. It's a little bit of a warmer day. It's really not that hot today. It feels pretty good. Yeah, there's a little bit of heat, especially right there by the exhaust, if you can believe it. Yeah, I mean, look at, man, this is a cool setup. This is a cool bike. Absolute blast to rip around on. Ton of fun. Who's going to enjoy this bike the most? The guy that wants a cool bike, you know, someone that wants something that's fun, something they can show off and really just enjoy. You know, maybe not the guy that's probably not going to hop on the interstate and go for state to state, but, you know, rip through a few different counties throughout the week. Take a little day trip, hit a couple counties, you know, maybe even take a little beach trip every now and then, or go to the mountains for a weekend. It's the bike to do that. Is it one you want to live off of for a week? You could. But again, there's other motorcycles that are going to make that a little bit easier on you. Yeah, we are cruising. This is a good bike. It's fun. Nice and smooth, runs great. Has just the right amount of decel pop. So you're not so much that it sounds like you desperately need to get it tuned. But some folks like that kind of gurgly sound to it. And the suspension feels great too. Nice and cozy. Yeah, feels pretty good. And here we are back at Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson. So thank you for riding with us on a relatively pretty quick little rip today. This is your 2014 Harley-Davidson Softail Breakout. Rocking a 103 twin cam. Let's do a little low speed maneuver. Can I do a U-turn on this thing? Let's see. A little counter lean, a little bit of clutch control. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, you can, that ain't bad at all. You're gonna run this thing all day. Definitely have to muscle it a little bit more. Not the smoothest to rip around, or at least not. But yeah, here she is. So thank you guys for riding with us today. And we hope that you come here to Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson to see us soon. So in the meantime, ride safe and take care.